Hello, and welcome to Questing Show, a play podcast where each episode a new adventurer steps up to fix a broken kingdom. I'm the host and Game Master James, and who's joining us to embark on today's adventure?
Hi, my name is LeoSidci, or you could just call me Sid.
Sid, hello, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Yourself?
Excellent. I'm not doing too bad either. Sid, for the people at home, if they haven't heard your name before, what would they know you best for?
For this unnecessarily deep voice. You may have heard me in very bad audio renditions of talking over video game footage. But no, so I run a channel called LeoSidci, a pun on Leonardo da Vinci. And yes. I produce a series called The Sid Course, like discourse, but you get it by now.
Yeah, no, exactly. It works the name Sid in where it can, I suppose, which is cool.
Oh yeah.
And you cover like I guess you cover quite a few things on the channel. It isn't really just like games or whatever. It could be like just anything kind of nearby or like whatever just kind of appeals to you, yeah?
Yeah, basically. So most of what I talk about is video games, but I kind of use video games as a precursor to more interesting topics, if you will. Okay. So kind of like a conduit to talking about mental health or the science of nostalgia or how tattoos work in culture, or in the last episode, the art of surrealism through a manga series.
Oh yes, the manga series Berserk, right?
Yes.
Cool. I will say that if you're interested in watching any of Sid's stuff, links to that will be in the description below. But I will ask Sid, what is your experience with RPGs?
As in, like, this kind of setup? I've played Dungeons and Dragons twice.
Interesting. How did you find your experience with Dungeons and Dragons?
So the first time I played, it was quite a ruckus, but it was hilarious and it was fun. But the dungeon master at the end of the 3-hour session got so annoyed with all of us that he conjured up some witch that was like a level 10 or something and threw one fireball and killed us all, and that was the end of the session.
Oh God!
Yeah,
that's harsh.
And then the second session, same dungeon master.
Right.
But we actually defeated the witch this time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
I think I was playing the exact same character that I'm playing today. Because I'm just obsessed with the Sorcerer Supreme, who's not actually a good sorcerer. He's just very fashionable.
Yes, we will be getting into detail about that in a little bit. I'm quite excited to meet the Sorcerer Supreme TM. That would be quite good. But all right, very cool. So, assuming that you're listening to this podcast because Sid is on it, but you haven't heard any of the previous ones before, I'll give a very quick rundown of how this works versus in like a D&D, which is essentially Sid, before we began recording, came up with a character who will be tasked with solving this episode's issue at hand. His character being, in this case, the Sorcerer Supreme. And over the course of this adventure, I'll describe settings, characters, and situations. And Sid will be in charge of telling me how they'd like to proceed with their actions. Most of the time, these actions won't be challenged. However, there may be opportunities where they'll want to take the advantage. Say, get a drop on somebody or parlay for a better deal. Or times where they have to defend themselves, either through a little bluffing or combat. During these occasions, they'll be asked to roll 2 6-sided dice. And then for each small advantage that they might have going into a situation, such as their gear or their special abilities, they add 1 onto the final result. Simply, higher numbers lead to great results, and lower numbers, well, you'll see. And the rules and system for this are linked in the post below. Sid, have you got dice ready to roll?
I do.
Do you want to roll 2d6 now as kind of see how lucky you're going to be on the rest of this adventure?
Rolling 2d6, and I have a 5.
Oh, that doesn't bode well for the rest of the adventure.
Oh, lovely.
That's a potential bad omen. But hopefully we might be able to buck those trends. Um, so before we start, is there anything that you'd like to say before we get into this adventure proper?
Where is this prince?
Well, let me tell you. Let me tell you where this prince is. Because this prince is in our land, out of place and out of time.
Oh,
This prince is in a kingdom called Trottelera. Now, before we start with the Kingdom of Trottelera proper, which we know a little bit about because of previous adventures that we've had there, it's this big old bustling, multicultural little hamlet, which is where the castle of Trottelera Kingdom is. And they've had a couple of recent changes since Prince Pret has been there, including one of them being a slight relaxation on magic. This was something that was outlawed in the kingdom for the past 20 years, but since he has sat on the throne, he has decided to relax some of the restrictions on it a little bit, which I believe is why he has invited your guy into the kingdom today. But for the audience at home, let's go over who this person is that we've already partially mentioned earlier. So, Sid, tell us about the Sorcerer Supreme trademark.
so the Sorcerer Supreme is an amateur sorcerer. He just happens to wear Supreme and other designer clothes.
Yes.
His fresh drip comes from entirely inheriting the wealth of family, friends, and everyone who he's charmed along the way.
Excellent.
And as a hobby, he's trying to teach himself sorcery and kind of get up in the ranks. And so he's heard about this prince of Trottelera, wants to help out in whatever way he can. Maybe get himself a lordship, get himself some more fresh drip.
I think that could potentially happen at the end of this, depending how things go. What would you say his expertises are?
I guess his expertise would be persuasion, kind of talking the shit.
He's quite good at bullshitting people. Seems to be the case. And his special something is, as you've kind of said, magic. It is this kind of burgeoning sorcery that he's teaching himself, yeah?
Yeah, I would say he's a level 1, if we're going to go down that road. Yeah, it's all down to luck, really. So,
Oh, absolutely. Most of these things are, I always think. And what does he usually bring along with him? By the looks of things here, it's he brings his riches and he brings a scimitar.
Yes. So obviously, the guy has money, doesn't know what to do with it. More money than sense, really. And his scimitar is just to look a bit more ominous and threatening in case anyone decides to mess with it. Not particularly good at it, but it looked cool in the store.
It'll help him in a pinch if he needs it, I imagine.
Yeah, I mean, he knows how to hold one.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. So, the Sorcerer Supreme has been invited to the Kingdom of Trottelera to speak directly with Prince Pret. I'll leave this to you, Sid. Do you think the Sorcerer Supreme knows much about Prince Pret or Trottelera before going in?
A basic level of knowledge, I'd say. Like, he knows the guy's name.
Okay, all right. You know a name, you know a face, but that's about it. You're not really sure the recent goings on within the Kingdom of Trottelera, but that's fine. You'll be put up to date with that stuff as you get there. So, you're invited into the castle. You walk past the guards. You walk past the marble floors. You see pictures of all the previous rulers of Trottelera, Prince Pret's ancestors, going all the way back to King Uriel. Paintings going down and down and down and down until eventually we get to the prince himself in his finery with his little horns on his head and the most excited looking face, because of all the people that he has met so far, you're old Sorcerer Supreme is the person that he has been most excited to meet with. Purely on name alone, really. You don't get a name like the Sorcerer Supreme for nothing, But as he locks eyes with old LeoSidci, he lights up and he goes, "Great, you're finally here, alright!" And starts to trottle down to chat with you. Do you introduce yourself to the prince?
Your Majesty, it is I, LeoSidci, the Sorcerer Supreme. You would look great in a beard. Have you considered growing a beard?
He looks at his little chinny chin, which he is pulling on, and he's just like, "Oh, I have tried a little bit to grow facial hair, but it just comes out patchy, I can't grow a beard like my dad, unfortunately."
Don't worry, young sir. Once we're done with our little adventure, you'll have all the chest hair and beard that you'll ever need.
Oh, he is very excited by that. His big blue eyes are twinkling, little stars in them as he thinks about that. And he goes, "Well, you couldn't have got here at a better time, Sid, because, we've had all sorts going on. Somebody released a book that says that I'm not the real heir to the Trottelarian throne, and then we had another thing where somebody tried to assassinate me. Oh, it's been terrible, but one thing that people will be really excited about is that I might be able to bring magic back to Trottelera, but I'm not so good at showing that stuff off, and I've got 4 people that I need to demonstrate it to, which is why I've hired you, the Sorcerer Supreme."
And what a perfect time I came along. So, what do we need to do? Who we dealing with today?
He claps his hands together. "Wonderful, let me run you through it." As he clicks his fingers to some advisors as they produce paperwork and stuff like that. So, here is what he wants you to help out with. Despite being the leader and technically the ruler of Trottelera, the city of Trottelera itself has a governing body made up of 4 people, and they're the ones in charge of essentially, if there's any changes to the law or any new laws that need to be passed, they're the people who need to be impressed. And there's 4 of them. One of them is called Sadler. He is a human. He's the head of the city guard, a bit grizzled and a bit scarred looking from what you can figure out from this picture. There's a guy called Tobrone, the orc. He's the chief financier, and he's a bit of a fanciful man in the city. Then there's Bushnell, the beast woman. She is an industry leader, and she's kind of like a bit of a rough and tough, hard-nosed, very hard to impress. And then finally, Prenty, who is an elf scholar and more of a public relations person for the Kingdom of Trottelera. The prince has told you that this evening, which is why you're here, the prince is going to put food on for them to try and line their stomachs, but essentially you need to demonstrate magic to them, and you need to show them all the benefits that magic could bring to Trottelera.
Fantastic. Okay. Just wipes a bit of sweat off the brow, airing the Gucci robes, making sure he doesn't sweat through.
No, absolutely. The prince is just looking at you with a big smile, and he's just like, "And listen, I know this is very short notice for you, so whatever you want, whatever you're expecting, just let me know, okay? And I'll try and make that happen. If you want money, if you want like a house or whatever, just let me know."
I mean, there are plenty of things that I could ask for, sir, but let's get this show on the road, shall we? Let's get on with it.
Excellent.
We'll talk about my fee later.
Okay, I'm happy to do that. The rest of the afternoon then works on as, I imagine, as the rest of the castle gets ready with putting together this food and kind of preparing the place for this party. I guess, what does Sid do to pump himself up to get ready for doing a presentation or for showing off?
So when he's in his private chambers, the Sorcerer Supreme will dance and mime to himself in no music. Obviously, there's no Spotify back then, so kind of just jamming away, kind of like TikTok but muted, if you will.
He could hire. There may be a bard on hand somewhere in the castle if he wanted to hire somebody to play like drill music or grind to him. They could do that.
Yeah, sure. Let's bring over a bard. Let's.
Okay. The prince.
But the bard
the prince
must stay outside on the other side of the door. They can just.
Oh, of course, yeah. There is a slight muffled noise as one of the prince's bards is outside the door playing.
You are fire, the one desire, really. When I say I want it down.
Okay. He's playing some a classic popular tune by the Boys of the Backstreets.
Precisely.
Outside of your room to get you hyped up. And with that, the evening comes as 4 people arrive on the scene, and you get a good look at all of them. And yeah, as said, there is a grizzled-looking human, kind of 9 o'clock shadow on him, a mullet. He just, despite the fact that he was invited to the castle, he is still wearing his guard's uniform. Toblerone the Orc, on the other hand, looks very fanciful. Not quite the drip level that you have. He's a bit more like in line with how the prince looks, but he is pretty startled by your Supras and your and your Supreme and your other bits and bobs. Bashnell the Beast Woman isn't so much impressed, though, just kind of looking around. I don't think she's much for this sort of pomp and circumstance. Meanwhile, Prenty the Elf, they are scribbling stuff down. They have brought a little entourage of people with them who are doing etchings, they're writing stuff down. Some of them are doing almost speaking like into a conch shell to all the people back home on their twitching stream of all the exciting stuff that has happened. Prince Pratt sits them all down. He's like, "Guys, I'm so glad you could make it here. Let me tell you, we got a really exciting evening ahead of us, sir. This is going to really change the face of Trottelera for years to come. But let me say, I'm not the guy to do it, alright? Which is why I have invited," as he throws his hands out to give you an excited interest, "ladies and gentlemen, Sid, the Sorcerer Supreme."
Sid, the Sorcerer Supreme. Thank you.
Sid, the Sorcerer Supreme.
Thank you, Your Majesty. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for inviting me to this wonderful gathering. And I must say, wow, I do love the equal opportunities here, especially with you, sir, with the tusks, looking mighty fine. Not in the original kingdom where I'm from would we see such a multicultural mix, but it's good to see it. Well done.
They're all nodding and they're all grinning as kind of Pratt looks at you and he's just like he just kind of pulls an awkward face of like, is this the part where you do magic now? Like he's not quite sure what what happens next. So, do you want to break out the goods then?
Okay, so
right, let's get rolling.
All right.
So, for this, roll 2d6 and we'll add 1 for persuasion and we'll add another 1 for magic. So we'll add 2 to whatever the final result is.
Okay. So, first one is 8.
Ooh, so that is a 10 then. So, what do you do to impress these people?
I take out my hands, do some jazz hands, do a little clap, clap, snap, snap. And I look deeply into the eyes of the orc, and then to the beast lady.
Okay.
And then back at the orc, and then at the elf, but get a bit freaked out, so I turn away from the elf.
Okay.
And I say, and that's it.
All 4 are looking back and forth, confused at one another. Prince Pratt looks over at you and he was like, What was that?
That, Your Majesty, was the spell of silence.
Oh, he starts clapping at that, and then everybody else joins in as well. Oh, they are very impressed by what you pulled off there. Oh, the elf starts scribbling stuff down as one of the advisors is talking into the conch shell to the twitching stream to let them notice what happened. As the city guard's a little bit like, he's not so impressed. The beast woman isn't impressed at all. She's got a very stony face as she just watched you pull that off. Pratt is like looking towards the kitchen. He's waiting for food to come out. So he's just kind of looking at you and he's just like, have you got anything else to impress them with?
Sure. I mean, by all means, if you'd like me to show you something else.
Yeah, if you could. Yeah, go ahead.
But any requests? Anyone? Like, I'm more than happy to conjure you up anything. What would you like? Dinner? And the doors open? Can I roll? Can I roll for the doors to open and food comes?
Yeah, tell you what, let's roll 2d6 on this, and we'll just roll flat 2d6.
I got a 4.
They all look towards the kitchen where nothing has appeared yet. They're all kind of looking at you like, is this guy for real?
Ladies and gentlemen, that was just for the food to be cooked. Let's try one more time, and now they'll be coming through. Are you ready?
Yeah. Okay, let's try it again then. Let's see what happens.
Roll a 2d6. A 10.
Roll 2d6. And with that, the doors swing wide open. Pratt walks out of the way as, all these plates come out with all these bits of food on it. The beast woman, under her breath, just goes, finally. As, everything is dished up. They did make a little bit of food for you, but they'll probably expect you to have that later. But sure. 4 of them, including the prince, are having lamb shanks. The elf, on the other hand, is having a goat's cheese salad. They do not eat meat. As the prince goes, alright, I'll get the bards in. We'll get this party going, alright? El said if you could make some fanciful allusions or something, I think that would really set the mood.
Your Majesty, do I look like a jester to you?
Oh, he kind of puts, he sort of looks awkwardly and goes, oh no, I guess you're not. Okay, what do you want to do?
Well, I think we should be talking business. Clearly, we all know that you and the nation as a whole are looking forward to including magic back into the kingdom of Trocadero. And it's about damn time.
You grab yourself a seat and you push yourself to the table then, as the prince is kind of nodding to the other ones. It's like, we're really excited to get magic back in Trocadero. It's been a really long time since, a wizard tried to kill my dad, but I think it is time to finally, bring stuff around and make stuff, get magic back.
Precisely. And I think it's about time that we do. And I think the best way to do that is if I set up shop here in your kingdom with an exclusive contract for all magic to pass through to me as your magical advisor, as your Sorcerer Supreme.
Ooh, his eyes are twinkling as you say that, as he looks to the other 4 just being like, this, this sounds pretty good. They're all a little bit kind of tell you what, roll 2d6 and we'll add roll a flat 2d6 and we'll add persuasion to this. So we'll add a 1 to this once you've rolled.
10! Yes! Oh my god.
Hey, look at that! Nice! Okay, yeah. They start nodding at that, just being like, he did pull off a pretty cool sound of silence trick there, and this guy really knows. I think this guy knows this stuff. The orc is nodding up and down. He's like, yes, if we have this guy in charge, we could pay a nominal fee on a weekly basis, and obviously we'd have all the gubbings that would come with being a member of the Royal Advisory Unit as well. Yes, I think that sounds like a very good idea. The Beast Woman the Beast Woman kind of rolls her eyes again. She's not much for this pageantry. They have a look over to the elf to kind of see what they think about it. their faces down in the salad. Prince Pratt just kind of looks a bit worried as they're like, Princey, you're not really meant to do that. Are you okay? The Beast Woman pulls this elf's face out of the salad and checks the pulse on their neck and looks at the rest of the table and goes, he's dead.
He can't be. You checked the wrong pulse. He is an elf.
You want to check?
You must check the pulse on their temple. Place your fingers. Actually, I'll do it.
Okay. Roll 2d6.
We got a 6.
We could add. Actually, we could add. I don't know. Were you trying to persuade him that this elf isn't dead?
No, I'd be persuading them that they checked the pulse the wrong way.
Oh, okay. Well, that's plus one to this. You did check a pulse on their temple. Yeah, they are completely stone cold dead. They aren't doing
I can't
well.
confirm with you, Your Majesty. The elf is dead.
Oh, he is looking stressed to the max as, like, the royal guardsman gets up and he goes, Alright, which of you did this? Who killed this elf? As the prince is just like, what do you mean who killed? He came in here, we were having a lovely time, he had a salad, there's no way that any of us would kill him. As the royal guard is kind of looking awkwardly at you, Sorcerer Supreme, like, what's happening here? Yeah, this elf has died during the middle of your sales pitch, and things are starting to look a little bit awkward as a result, LeoSidci. How would you like to approach this situation then? Because, the prince is kind of looking around for any other guards who can kind of, like, swamp the place and figure out what's going on, but it seems unlikely that you're going to be able to slip out of this until this thing is solved.
Well, quite clearly I didn't kill him. Did anyone check that he was lactose intolerant?
They all kind of, like, pull a face a little bit like that. The Beast Woman's kind of looking at you, and she's just like, well, I don't know about that, because out of all of us, this elf is the most against having magic return to Trostlara, so, I don't know, you killing him would quell any dissenting opinions.
And how do you think I would have killed him? With what? My silence spell? No, it merely silences you. Not silences you entirely, completely for eternity, just momentarily.
They're all kind of thinking backwards and forwards before the orc. The orc is kind of like he's like kind of chewing bits of meat in his mouth, and he's like, "What if the food was poisoned?"
My God, what if the food was poisoned?
What if the food was poisoned? Well, in that case, you'd probably want to head to the kitchen and see whether there's been any tampering with the food, because these four had a different meal to the elf, so it's likely that perhaps this elf was singled out because their food could be tampered with outside of those ones.
Your Majesty, we must investigate.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, the prince is, there's a slight bit of excitement in his eyes because he's never done an investigation before. That being said, he also looks freaked the hell out because somebody has died in the castle, but...
Don't you worry. You are under my protection. Granted, you have an entire kingdom and a whole army to your behest, but nonetheless, you are under my protection. For a fee.
Cool.
For a fee.
Oh, yeah, no, obviously.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, I know, of course. The two of you head into the kitchen area then to have a look. Would you like to roll 2d6 to do a light investigation of the situation?
2d6. It is a 4.
Ooh, no. Here's the thing. So not only do you get a good grasp of what's happening in here, because the whole place is a chaos of chefs moving back and forth and all that sort of stuff, but there is also a complication.
Okay.
The rest of the three surviving party members also come in to kind of try and figure stuff out. They go over to the assembly area where this goat's cheese salad was made. They find an empty vial of poison. And they also find a limited edition Supreme cap.
SpaghettiOs.
The prince is looking at you with a bit of a worried face, and he's just like, Sid? I mean, you do have such fresh drip. There's nobody in the castle with merch like that.
Your Majesty, please, me wear a cap with this perfectly coiffed hair. I would never ever put anything on my head besides beeswax.
Roll 2d6 plus persuasion plus the fact that you do have such wonderfully coiffed hair.
11
to convince the prince.
11.
Oh, okay. The prince is smiling, and he is just like, oh my god, you make such a good point, because, yeah, why would you wear a baseball cap like that when it hasn't even been raining recently, so that doesn't make any sense.
Especially with these robes, do you think they would never match?
No, of course not, as he's looking back and forth. But then that means that somebody knows who you are, and somebody's trying to make it look like you did it.
Precisely, Your Majesty. We are on the same level. And you know what? I think we should interrogate the guard guy. What's his name?
Oh, you want to interrogate the head of guards, Mr. Sadler.
Mr. Sadler.
Okay, you get Sadler off on his own then. To increase his maximum cool points, he is lit up as cigarettes as he is leaning against the wall, and he is looking up and down. He goes, "Yeah, what?
Need a light."
He does look at his cigarette that he already lit up, but he decides to put it out so you can light it up for him.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll magic for.
Alright, roll 2d6 and we'll add magic to this.
4.
You're clicking your fingers like a Zippo underneath the light, underneath a cigarette, and it just ain't happening.
It's very windy out here.
Just very windy in this kitchen. He relights the cigarette. You're not on good standing with Sadler then at this point. He's just kind of like, alright, killer, what have you got to ask?
What did you think about Elfie? Or whatever their name was.
Rolls his shoulders and he goes, I've met the guy a couple of times, you know. Seems like a nice enough guy. Don't really run in the same circles as him. He's a bit of a wuss. Well, meanwhile, you know, I'm a bit of a tough guy. You gotta be to lead the city guard. But believe me, I got no axe to grind with him. No reason why I'd want to poison him.
How did you know he was poisoned?
He looks behind you and he goes, we found the empty vial and the supreme hat over there.
You make a valid point. Thank you. Just checking.
Of course, you got to do your job.
So, who do you think it was?
Well, first things, I think it might have been you. But if I was to try and look elsewhere for the blame, I did see that orc go near the kitchen before we even sat down. However, I tried to talk to one of the maids, and she wouldn't tell me what he wanted to talk about.
So, you think it was the orc? A little racist for you, don't you think? It's the 13th century, sir.
Listen, I don't see race. At least not very well. I do wear an eye patch.
I guess we'll just have to interrogate the orc.
You go then to have a speak with old Tobone the orc. He is looking as worried as Prince Pratt is. He is like tapping his big fingers together and just kind of looking very awkward at you. And he's just like, I don't know what's happened here, alright? Somebody's died, but, you know, you can't just be going around willy-nilly asking questions and stuff like that. Listen, Tobone, we're not pointing fingers, alright? But we gotta ask questions, okay?
T-Bone, T-Bone, T-Bone. Bear with me. Just wanted to ask you what you thought of the elf. Did you kill him?
No, I did not
Are
kill
you
that
sure?
elf. Yes, I am. I'm the head of money in this kingdom. I'm the chief financier. Why would I give up such a fantastic position through trying to kill that elf? Throw everything away. I would have no reason to do so.
What was the elf's job again?
The elf's job was they were human resources.
Oh.
They were public relations, actually. They were a PR person
Oh, public relations.
for the kingdom.
Okay. Well, I mean, obviously, T-Bone, you clearly had the more important job. But nonetheless, you are suspicious. I must ask you a few questions.
Okay, well, ask your questions then.
Do you see my hands?
He's looking at your hands. Yes?
Fantastic. It means your eyes are working. Now, do you see the magic I conjure? Do you see the magic that I conjure between them? What do you see? Can I roll for magic?
Go ahead, roll 2d6 and add +1 for magic.
9.
Ooh, a 9. So, you'll get what you want, but there'll be a slight complication to it. So, what
Okay.
did you want him to see?
I want him to see, a small ball of fire. To scare him a little.
Okay, he does see that small ball of fire, and he does start to scream, "He's a pyromaniac! He's a pyromaniac!" As, like, the people, like, the guards are starting to get panicked by what you're doing.
T-Bone. T-Bone. Only a truly guilty man would feel the fear of... And they need to come up with a name for this ball of fire that really has no fucking power whatsoever. It's just
Goodness gracious, great ball of fire.
Yes, the goodness gracious great ball of fire. Only the truly guilty would see it. Your Majesty, it was him.
Prince Pratt is looking at this guy and just being like, "Toblerone, why would you kill him? I'm trying to tell you, Prince Pratt, it wasn't me."
Can I roll persuasion for the prince?
Sure, roll 2d6 +1. And we'll add 1 to this, yeah. 2d6 plus. Ooh, okay. The prince is just kind of looking at you and he's like, "Or maybe he did do it, but what if... I mean, we haven't asked everybody yet."
I think it's fine. I think we found the guy. Let's lock him up. And you know what? You won't need to worry about replacing him, as your HR person is gone and your financier person is gone. I'll take the role.
The orc slams his foot down and he's like, "That is preposterous! That's why you did it, because you're trying to eliminate everybody in here so you can have each and every single one of our jobs."
Sir, why would I incriminate myself by putting a very dripless hat next to the poison? Come on. Can I roll for persuasion, please?
Yeah, go ahead, 2d6 +1.
I got a 2.
Oh, no. Yeah, no, that orc is huffing and puffing. I mean, he's a chunky guy. He's a pretty big guy. And he looks like, despite the fact that he is in such fanciful robes, he looks like he wants to punch your lights out. So, what would you like to do?
I draw my scimitar.
Okay. And are you using that to, like, keep him at bay? Or, like, you want to get a first attack on him? Or...
Sir, if you come any closer to me, I will chop off your teeth and wear them around my ears and put a Versace logo on them. Don't you take one step further.
Roll 2d6 and we'll add 2, 1 for persuasion and 1 for the scimitar.
9.
Oh, okay. Okay, this orc doesn't move any further. He is huffing and puffing, and he is looking at the prince, and he's just like, "I have worked for your father for many years, Prince Pratt. Why would I throw things away now at the last minute?" And the prince is just kind of like... The prince just looks totally bemused as he's looking at you, and he's just like, "I mean, this guy was at my christening. Why would he want to poison our PR person? It just doesn't make any sense, Sid."
Quite clearly, he poisoned your PR person, framed me, and evidently, he must be the one who killed your father.
Wait, my dad's dead?
Is he dead? Is he not? Whoops. Is he not dead?
The prince is looking awkward, and he's just like, all I knew was that my mom and dad went missing. Wait, my dad's dead?
Uh-oh.
The prince is like, oh no, the prince is getting like very dizzy. He looks dizzy. He's not looking well at this point.
Shouldn't like the guardsman at some point try and like defend him?
Somebody has come over to like hold him up. You have a look back over to where the quote unquote crime scene was. The limited edition Supreme Hat and the vial of poison have both disappeared.
Your Majesty, they've disappeared. Someone has taken them.
What? As he looks over and he sees that stuff is gone.
Who else?
That doesn't make any sense. The guardsman's here and Tobrone's here.
Wait, where's the Beast Lady?
Where is the Beast Lady? Roll 2d6, see if you can find her.
8.
Okay. You burst out of the kitchen then, as you see this beast woman is trying to make a rather hasty move out of the castle.
Stop ye! I shan't call you any nasty names, for I am a progressive man, but nonetheless,
But
wench.
all women are queens, even if you're a killer.
Even if you do have blue fur all over you, madam.
Oh, wow. How do you want to stop her?
I throw the scimitar towards her, but my aim is to try and
You don't want to hit. You want to hit in front of her to stop her in her tracks.
precisely, yes.
Okay, roll 2d6 and we'll add 1 for the scimitar.
11. Oh my god.
Oh, wow, yeah. She puts a little trot on her feet, but then the scimitar lands at her feet and she stops in place. She looks over her shoulders and grumbles, and she's just like, what do you think you're doing?
I slowly walk up to her, whisper to myself, whew, that never worked before.
Yeah. Oh, most of the time that goes through people.
usually that kills them. Woo.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Where do you think you're going?
Going to the women's restroom. I was getting so annoyed with all this chattering going on. Aren't they meant to be arresting Tobrone in there?
It turns out that Tobrone is not going home. He is staying. But you, on the other hand, seem to have in your possession something that should not be yours.
Ooh. Do you want to roll 2d6 to try and see if what she has on it is on her?
Yeah. And 8.
Okay. You pull at her big, fluffy coat, causing 1, the Supreme Limited Edition hat to fall out. 2, the empty vial to hit the floor. But, worse for you, 3, she has a knife underneath her coat, which she grabs hold of. She wants to try and get an attack on you.
Oh shit.
And you have thrown the scimitar to the floor.
Madam, you would not hit a man in Versace robes now, would you?
I don't care what brands you're wearing. I'll make them blood red if you come at me.
I'm telling you now, I am the Sorcerer Supreme. If you come any closer, I will turn you into a toad.
She licks her teeth and goes, I'd like to see you try.
Fuck. Okay, so I take a step back.
Okay.
I take another step back.
Okay.
I take another step back.
You're trying to run away, are you?
No.
Oh, okay. You're just stepping back.
I'm just taking slow steps back. Assessing my surroundings. Can I do a light investigation of the area?
Sure. Roll. What in particular you're looking for, or trying to look for?
Anything. A weapon. Dust. Sand. Whatever. Just literally.
You're gonna pocket sand it.
No.
Roll.
I'll see if the cheese is around and if I can grab it to throw at her.
Roll. Oh, yeah, the poison cheese. Roll 2d6 and we'll add +1 to this because I quite like this idea.
6.
Oh, is that with 1 added?
No, just I rolled a 6. So.
Oh, so we got that to a 7 then.
Yeah.
There is the poison cheese on the table, which is in grabbing distance. But if you're gonna reach for it, she's gonna try and stab you for the hand. So roll another 2d6 to dodge.
6.
Oh no! She pushes that knife right into your shoulder, causing blood to ruin some of your Versace drip. You are now bloodied.
Not the robe! God damn you!
Do you know how much this cost me?
This required my best friend's entire inheritance.
You do have a grip on the cheese, though.
With which hand?
I don't know, whatever. The left hand. Your left hand is gripped on the cheese.
Oh, which shoulder is stabbed?
Oh, left shoulder.
Okay, so I have to go through extreme pain to slap her in the face with some poison cheese.
Okay,
yes. Fine. Do I roll?
Yeah, go ahead. Roll 2d6, and because it is in your bad arm, we'll remove 1 from the final result.
Okay. 8.
Oh, so that takes us to a 7. Okay, so that's the mixed result then. You do manage to throw that poison cheese salad right in her face. She coughs and sputters some of it up because, yeah, she doesn't want to ingest. She tries as hard as she can to not ingest any of that poison. She's still got a little bit of fight left in her, though, and, well, if that's going to kill her, she's bringing you straight to hell with her. She is running at you with knife in hand.
What do I do?
What do you do?
Okay, I'm going to be a smarmy git and say, see, I already turned you into a toad before I got here. Look at you. And then I try and make a run for it.
Oh, you want to bamboozle her?
I would have, yeah.
Roll 2d6 and we'll add +1 for persuasion.
6.
Oh no. You try and do that play and try and make an escape. No, she dives forward and tackles you to the ground. You are winded from this.
Oh, the fat bitch.
The other 3 have come out, just looking at it. It's just like, Elson, are you okay?
Evidently not, sir.
Oh no! Pratt is running around panicked as he's like trying to grab anything. The city guard is just like, man, on your feet. She's trying to stop the killer from escaping.
What?
as the orc is standing back because after that interrogation scheme, he don't want to help you. Pratt's the only one who seems to be on your side in this one. Yeah, she is trying to choke you out. What would you like to do?
I would like to. Okay, so she's choking.
Yeah, she's got you like in a big bear hug. She's like trying to squeeze the life.
Okay, cool. I am going to appeal to His Majesty. Be like, quite clearly, she's tried to stab me. Well, she's trying to kill me because she killed the fucking elf. Please.
She killed the elf?
She killed the elf. Look, my scimitar's all the way over there. I tried to stop her, and now she's trying to fucking get away with it. She dropped her. Look, her coat has the cap and the poison.
Oh my god! That's the limited edition Supreme hat, and also the vial of poison. Okay. And what would you like him to do, essentially?
Get the guardsman to kill the.
Oh right. Roll 2d6 and we'll add 1 for persuasion.
4.
Oh no. The prince is flapping around. He is like trying to, rather than ask for the guardsman's help, he's like running over to some like royal weapons, like decorative stuff that's on the wall, and he's trying to like pull a sword out to help you.
Oh god.
Meanwhile, no, the city guards are moving towards her, and they're just like, all right, stand up, hold him tight, and we'll cut this bastard down to shreds.
Oh Okay. I don't know. What should I do? How ridiculous.
How do
you get out of this situation, Tristan?
It is quite a ridiculous situation that you're in.
I am. Okay, I'm going to do some magic.
Alright, what magic?
I am going to try and summon my scimitar.
Ooh.
Yes.
Okay. That is cool.
Roll,
and what would you like the summoned scimitar to do?
If it's a high roll, then I would like it to stab the beast woman in the back. If it's a low roll, if it's like a fucking like 2 or 3 or 4 or something, then I expect it to just not work. If it's like a middle, maybe like
okay, I can think of something. I can think of something fun for that. So roll 2d6 and we'll add 1 for magic and we'll add another 1 for the scimitar.
10.
We got that up to a 12. Fantastic stuff.
Fantastic.
You move your hands around and she's just tutting back and forth. She's like, you're no magician. There's nothing that you can do to stop me now. However, with a little... she, like, gurks as blood starts to, like, bubble in her mouth as, your scimitar digs right through her back. Fortunately for you, doesn't go all the way through and hit your back, but she is... Yeah, I know. She lets go of you and you stumble forward as a result, and she's just kind of, like, dancing back and forth, just, like, coughing up blood. The guardsman is moving up on you, and it's just like, you sick son of a bitch. You killed that elf, and now you're trying to kill her too.
Mr. Guardsman. What? Would you think I would dare to get these robes in such a horrible condition? I am bleeding. There is blood on
everywhere.
This is a one-off piece.
Roll CD6. We'll add 1 for persuasion and we'll add another 1 because of your drip.
7.
Oh, so we got that to a 9 then. Okay, he does kind of look like... Alright, maybe... Alright, yeah, fair point. Yeah, why would you want to get such fresh material so ruined like this? And
look at me. Look at me. Do I look like I would get blood on this one-off designer piece? This was made by fairies.
Yeah, I was... Okay, yeah, he tells
this is straight up slave labor made this. You
are
telling me I would get blood on it? No. Oh, the blood is only on my hands. Theoretically.
The guard puts his hands down, then telling his men to stand back as, you have convinced him on this. However, you see out the corner of your eye Prince Pratt has produced a sword and he is running towards the beast woman to try and stop her completely. No, she then grabs Prince Pratt by the throat and is trying to choke him out.
Your Majesty.
Help me!
Decisions. Do I save the prince and set myself up for life?
Cut your losses and get out of there.
Well, I am a greedy man. So
you are.
I go and try. I try and tackle the beast woman, to try and save the prince.
Roll 2d6.
8.
Okay, you run towards the beast woman then to try and get Pratt out of her grip. Fortunately for you, she does. Unfortunately for you, she does though by throwing Pratt straight at you. Oof. Roll 2d6.
10.
Excellent. Prince Pratt, despite all his thickness, is mostly padding, and he hits you like a big pillow, and you don't take any harm from that, and he rolls out of the way. His eyes are spinning as this beast woman is coughing up blood from the poison and from the scimitar in her back, and she is just looking at you like, You're not even a real magician. You're just some idiot wearing fancy clothing and you took me down?
Never underestimate the drip.
Oh, what a good line to end on. Yeah, she hits the floor as you say that, just a little pool of blood around her face as she is just completely conked out as a result. Never underestimate the drip.
Oh my god.
Which leaves, unfortunately, the Orc Financier and the Head of the Guard as the two people that you need to convince to bring magic to Trotlair.
Okay, well, gentlemen, as you may have seen, yes, of course, magic can be used for bad. For instance, it can kill people like it. For my own personal safety, of course, in self-defense, I had to summon my sword. And yes, but on the other hand, it can be used for good. What good has happened today? Well, we obviously stopped. Well,
Roll 2d6 and we'll add 1 for persuasion and 1 for magic on this.
3.
Oh no! The prince is still completely bonked out. The financier and the head of the guard look back and forth at one another and look at you and they're like, yeah, I think it's going to be at least another 20 years till we bring magic back to Trotlair. Yeah, no dice. Yeah, I have to agree with him. Appreciate the show, though, LeoSidci. He puts his hand out to shake.
I'm left-handed, so I can't shake your hand anymore.
Oh, right, because you got a busted arm.
Well, for one, it's covered in poisoned cheese, and I got
Oh, yeah,
my left shoulder doesn't work.
Oh, no. He pats you on the back then as the two leave the situation. The prince gets on his little feet and he's rubbing his eyes and he's just oh, man, this has been one crazy night, huh? Oh, hey, where'd the other two go?
Sir, if you ever need me for anything else, you by all means will summon me, and I will come to your aid.
Oh, okay. So how much do I owe you for the evening?
Let's say 10,000 silver.
Oh, cool. All right. Oh, right. The financier's not here anymore. Okay, give me a minute then. I'll go to the treasury and I'll grab some coins for you then.
Thank you, sir.
He trots up to grab some money, as you are left to look over the situation of this beast woman that is bleeding out, completely conked, just completely dead as a doornail. This elf who's been dead for minutes, frozen cold, and just a bunch of royal guards and maids and stuff just looking absolutely distraught at the situation. Do you leave them with any kind of lasting words or any bit of magic?
I take my right hand.
I
brush my shoulder and I say, "Fresher than your salad, mate." And I walk out.
Wow. And with that, unfortunately for you, LeoSidci, Sorcerer Supreme, your adventure has come to an end in Trotlair for now. So, tell me, what are the adventures of LeoSidci afterwards? What does he do with himself?
Finds another kingdom, I think.
Okay.
I think that is going to be find some use for himself.
So yeah, he takes the 10,000 silver pieces. He moves on to another kingdom, and he just try the same grifts in the next kingdom that he goes to.
Basically, he's going to learn as many spells as he can in order to try and bring magic back to the world.
Excellent. Yeah, he's going to try and magic in Trotlair seems like a bit too much of a dangerous thing right now, especially with what happened with with those two. But it may come back someday. But I think you might have better luck in another kingdom a little bit further out from the madness of Chotlair. But oh dear.
I mean, that was fun.
Yeah, I was gonna. So, how did you find it?
It was good. Yeah? It was good. I mean, it does take a lot of creative thinking, obviously.
It is very much. You're being put on the spot quite often with this, and it's a tricky thing. But no, you did good. You did good. A lot of people wouldn't have risen to a situation like that, and you did so without never losing the drip.
Never lost the drip.
Never lost the drip.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, my I don't know any of these terms. I don't know any of this stuff.
Nor do
Chotlair. Unfortunately, Chotlair is a place, a kingdom that doesn't have a lot of style to it.
Oh man.
Yeah. And so with that, I think that is the end of Question Show for now. So before we wrap up, are there any last plugs that you want to do? Anything you want to shout out? Or?
Yeah, sure. So you can find me on Twitter, twitter.com/LeonardoDeSidci, or on YouTube at youtube.com/LeonardoDeSidci.
Great.
And of course, feel free to, throw some money at me, for me to perform magic tricks with you in the form of video content, etc., etc.
You're on Patreon, right?
Yes.
Excellent. I will put a link to that in the stuff I look, because your stuff is very good and it is worth throwing money at.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
And of course, if you would like to have a thumbnail not made by the Big Lou, holler at your boy.
Yeah, exactly. If you're listening to Question Show because you like people who make thumbnails, absolutely come to Sid for those. Totally. Well, good stuff. Well, fantastic. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being a part of this.
Thank you for having me. It was a great pleasure.
Excellent. With that, that is Question Show for another episode. If you enjoyed this, please leave us a review on a podcast app, or if you're watching this on YouTube, please like and leave a comment. Share us about if you can. The more you do that, the more of this that we can do. So, for now, thank you, and goodbye.